This is a quick Forex blog for May 15th, 2015. Just want to showcase how our Forex trading signals are improving. We released a new one this weekend. Here is the euro dollar. You can see it had a nice 20 pip win here, a nice 10, 20, 22 pip win here, followed by a loss. It was a little bit early in that double bottom. The last move was up, slightly higher than the last high. It was a little bit early and had a loss. Then the new trend has shifted down, so it sells the 50% swing right here. A lot of times, one of our containment bands, Keltner's, Bollinger Bands, or range projection areas gets hit at the same time, and they're super high probability trades. That's what this one was. And then later on, pretty much breaks even on that trade. And once a trend takes off, if there's not much of a pullback, we kind of pass on that trade. Unfortunately, sometimes miss 30 to 50 pips, but we also miss, dozens of 5 to 10 pip losses every day by not jumping in on, very shallow pullbacks like that. This is a counter trend trade that was a little bit early and pretty much broke even, lost a few pips. Trend was up, we wait for a deeper pullback, then we catch the resumption of the trend and make 40 pips or so. And I'm just going to quickly show some of the other ones. This one got shorted here because the trend was down. Another 50 or 62% Fibonacci trend trade. Unfortunately, it only made a few pips because another trade that was a loser got out of that one. Otherwise, it would have made 40 pips. Sometimes that happens, so those two kind of cancel each other out. About 5 or 6 pip loss here. And you probably go positive on the day here with about 15 pips. Dollar CAD did pretty well. Trend up, pullback, made about 8 or 9 pips. And you can see as it's going up, there's a lot of selling. It pauses, comes up, comes down. And a lot of times when trends are reversing or pattern-based trades pop up, when the market's barely higher than the last swing high and shows signs of reversal, we tend to have counter trend sells. And this one, usually they're only good for 5 or 10 pips, but this one was the best trade of the day as a counter trend trade. 10, 20, 30, 35, 40 pips. And here is pound dollar. Trend is down. Not much of a pullback here, so we don't short. Once enough time elapses, our patterns are based on 20 different categories of trades, but they all use swing analysis. They all use Fibonacci, Gann angles, trend lines, and so forth. And and they also use time. So when the market is coming down, we are pretty big proponents of not only bar-based Fibonacci profit targets or time-based extensions, but also time. This was a hour drop. We would tend to want to wait at least 30 minutes to get into the trend in many cases, depending on how many pips the swing is. The bigger the swing, the less rules we have for resumption of entering. This is a tiny swing, so we needed more time to get into it, and it took that trade right here, and unfortunately had such a steep pullback that we got out with a small 15 pip profit there. And this one was a little bit early, but the market did go our way a little bit. The stop moved down, and we probably lost only 5 pips there. Here's another explosive move up. And anytime the market makes a big 60 to 100 plus pip move, a lot of times when the market pulls back and shows signs of selling on the way back up, especially at fib levels, they're phenomenal counter trend trades. And you can see this one here made about 40 pips. I'm just going to show our Excel file for the week, and keep in mind that this analysis is after I add 5 to 10 new patterns every day, and usually fix 2 to 3 of the older patterns that have losses that are not based on what the initial pattern look like. I take pictures and notes of each pattern as they're created, and we have about 1,900 of them now. So this is Friday, and there's only 55% winning, but the wins are almost 4 times bigger than the losses. And that's the key. That's what I'm looking for. In any pattern I put in here, is it going to make 1.5 times when it works more than when it doesn't work? And if it does, then that's the pattern I will put in there. And I'm shooting for a target of 60% for any new trade. And you can see a bunch of the wins are pretty huge, and then we have, some medium-sized ones, but most of the losses are very tiny. I tend to spend more time focusing on fixing the losses that are over 10 pips, because that's when this is finished in the next couple of years, that's what I'm looking for. Here's Thursday, did better than Friday. Usually Friday is one of the better days. 63% winning, and oh, that's right, I have this sorted in a different way. Let me resort it so you can see the win-loss rate. There we go. Now the biggest wins are on the top. 19 pip average win, 6.8 pip average loss. And, again, a couple of huge wins are the reason why the wins are so big. I wish all of them were 30 or 40 pips, but that's not the case. There's some 0.9, 1.1, 2, 4. But most of the losses are, under 8 pips. Next day, 65% winning, 412 pips. And again, I have this sorted. Allows me to see the latest trade, so I can continue the stats from the last trade. Sometimes I flip them like that. So again, really nice 22 plus pip average win and less than 8 pip average loss. And here's Monday. Very high winning percentage and very tiny average loss that day. And so I'm doing more and more backtesting of every new idea I put in, rather than put a pattern in and see how it does over time. Some of these patterns don't show up more than 2 or 3 times a year, so there's not enough samples for me to fix them. So I'm backtesting them with very few rules and see what the winners have in common, the losers have in common, and then try to add appropriate number of rules to get rid of as many losers as possible while keeping all the wins. So we released a new version, 5.027. It has a lot of fixes of those pattern-based trades, and new ones such as this one right here. 7 or 8 bars up, 3 down, 3 up of the wick right near the high, and pretty multiple different waves up. I count the number of new highs and new lows per day, and usually after 4 or 5 new highs, then I will start to look for counter trend trades. I won't look for counter trend trades when the first new high or the second, and usually not even the third. Typically, that's one of the secrets for our counter trend signals. So that's it for this blog. Hopefully you enjoyed the new software. There's been some bug fixes in it too, and we changed the number of threads it uses, so it should actually speed up the loading of your workspaces, and it also uses less memory, so you can technically load bigger workspaces now.